Hi guys, I'm super excited. We have reached 500 subscribers. It means the world to me. I know in YouTube numbers, that's nothing. But a couple of months ago, we were at 200. So we're steady growing. And I hope the next goal will be 1,000 subscribers. Anyway, let's go to something totally different. I want to show you how I use an acoustic guitar as a reverb chamber when I'm recording live drums. This is the first time I ever used this. It was just some crazy idea that I got in my head. But before we go on, please hit the like button, please subscribe. Let's do this. So on the kick drum, I used a sub kick and I used an Akg D112. And on the snare, I used SM57 top and bottom. And I used SC Magneto on the overhead, left and right. And that's all the microphones that I'm using on the drums. And then I have, on the guitar, I have a Rode MP5. Wait a second. And the microphone that's going into the acoustic guitar is a Rode M5. Now, one thing that I have done to the guitar, I have wrapped up the strings. I actually put a glove between the strings. Could be cool to tune the guitar to the same key as the song you're recording. I haven't tried it, but I'm guessing that could be cool. Okay, so let's see what we got on all the channels. So on the sub kick, I'm using the Sheps 73, which basically is a Neve 1073 EQ. And I'm cutting 12K, 11.2 dB. I don't know if all the dBs. I guess so. Anyway, I'm cutting at 12K. I'm cutting 11.2, 1.6K. I'm cutting 15, and I'm boosting 2 dB at 35 hertz. And the Akg D112, I'm boosting 12K, 3 dB, 3.3 dB. And I'm also boosting 11 dB at 7.2K. And I'm boosting at 60. I'm boosting about 1 dB. Yeah. And I'm also using the drive button. So it's giving a little bit more of the upper harmonic distortion that's going through. And both the sub kick and the D112 is routed to one bus, and on that bus I'm using a DBX 160. So I'm taking out a couple of dB on the kick, but it's 10:1 ratio. Actually, it's 12:1. And the snare top, it's also the Andrew Sheps, and I'm boosting 6 dB at 12, and I'm cutting 10 dB at 700. And I'm boosting 6 dB at 110, and I'm using a high-pass filter at 50. And I'm also driving it at 30, whatever that means. I don't know, actually. And then that one goes into a DBX 160, just a couple of dB, just to get that snap. And then I'm gating it. And I'm also gating the kick drum. I forgot to mention that. Bottom snare is the same plugins that was on the top. EQ. I'm not driving it anything, and I'm boosting 12K at 12 dB, and I'm cutting 15 dB at 7.2, and I'm boosting 13 dB at 110, and I'm also using high pass filter. That one then goes into DBX 160, taking a couple of decibel, and then I'm using quite a fast gate. Because when you hear the snares, they're ringing quite along, but you only want the snares to be there at the hit, or at least I want the snare to be right at a hit, and then it's silent. And on the overheads, they are the same, the left and right. They are boosting 12K at 6 dB, something like that, and I'm cutting 11 dB at 360, and I'm boosting 220, 15 dB, and I'm using a high pass filter at 50. Now we can listen to the drums without the guitar room. Okay, so that's the clean drums. We could of course worked a lot more with it, but this is not... I didn't make this recording to use on an album. I didn't make this recording to get the best drums you can in the world. I made this because I just wanted to try out the guitar room reverb thing. So anyway, on the guitar room, I call it the guitar room reverb. Basically it's an echo chamber. So I'm using the CLA 1176 all button mode, attack at 3, release at 4. I'm driving it really hard, so I'm smashing it. Then I'm using the CLA mix hub, which basically is an SSL strip. And the only thing I have done there is I'm using high frequency. I'm boosting 3.4 at 8. I'm boosting 5.4 at almost 5. I'm cutting 3.8 at 290, and I'm boosting 7.2 at 66. Okay, so let's see how this sounds. I'm gonna use a fader. I'm gonna fade in the room, and I'm gonna mute it, unmute it, and we're gonna do that a couple of times, just so you can hear how it sounds. Okay, so I think that's really cool. I think I will actually use this in my next project that I'm gonna record. The sound actually reminds me a little bit of Kiss, Creature of the Night, I Love It Loud drum sound. They probably didn't do it like this, but I get the same kind of vibe. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, hit the like button. Until next time, goodbye.